There's been some blowback, Sergio, given the anonymity of Lima, which you just kind of exemplified right there. Lima lost his biggest fight to date, a decision against Tyrone McKenna about 4 or 5 fights ago. Your thoughts on Boots versus Lima?
I think of Lima, I think the capital of Peru, Chris Mannix. I think of Lima, I think of limon, lime in Spanish. I don't know who this guy is, and it's not a good look for Boots. I can understand why Boots went back and fought Karen Chukatsian, but at least he was a number 1 contender who he went the distance with.
He had to fight him. Twice he had to fight him. Ordered to fight him to keep his belt.
I can understand those 2 fights because Chukatsian put himself into position to fight for world champion. But Lima, on the other hand, he's already been knocked out by a title challenger, not a world champion.
He wasn't knocked out. He lost by decision.
Oh, well, he lost by decision. I don't even know because I haven't even studied this guy. I looked at his record and I'm like, who? I don't have any idea. And he comes from a part of a country where boxing is not popular. Portugal, right? That's for soccer, man. I mean, those are for, it's not a good look for Boots, man. I'm just saying that right now. It's not a good look for him. And especially if he struggles with this guy. If he struggles with them, the longer this fight goes, the worse it's going to look for Jaron Ennis, man. I just don't like this fight. Even as a stay busy fight, even as a fight to test your waters at 154, I hate it. Man. I got to keep it real. I'm a big fan of Boots. Huge fan of him. I think he's the future of boxing. But this is just a step in the wrong direction in order to become a star.
All right. Well, I disagree. If you're going to say that Lima isn't the right guy for him to fight in his first fight, 154 pounds, you're going to have to tell me who the right guy is. Because Lima was not the first choice of Matchroom when trying to make this fight. They went to Sergey Bohachuk. Bohachuk turned them down. They went to Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly turned them down. They went to a couple of other guys that had negotiations with them for this fight. They couldn't close the deal. Lima was the one that was available. Lima was the one willing to step up to take the fight. I know he doesn't have a great name, and I know you're kind of comparing him to a soccer player, which doesn't make any sense, but he's won, I think, 4 fights in a row since his decision defeat to Aaron McKenna, who is still a undefeated fighter, or still a contender. I don't know if Aaron McKenna is still undefeated.
I'll tell you who you match him up with, Mannix.
Hold on. I'm not done with this yet. I'm not done with this point yet, right? So in his last 4 fights, 4 wins, he has faced 3 undefeated fighters, including one at 160 pounds, and 1 fighter with 1 loss. So he has fought solid competition since that decision win to Aaron McKenna. So I don't know what to tell you. He's not a big name, but if you can't point to me at a big-ish name, remember, he wasn't going to fight a Virgil Ortiz in his first time out. He wasn't going to fight a Sebastian Fundora in his first time out. He was looking for a top 10 type of guy to fight. And lo and behold, I look at the rankings. Lima has is ranked by 3 of the 4 sanctioning bodies inside the top 10. So this is kind of exactly the guy that Matchroom was looking for.
And I think he holds one of these straps, right? He's an IBO champion.
He's the IBO title, which is a much lesser version.
Okay, look, if you promote it and sell it like that, I understand. But look, I would rather him get a soft touch that everyone expects you to knock out real quick, kind of like when Virgil Ortiz moved up to 54 and he fought Frederick Lawson. That was a familiar name, Lawson. Lima, on that end, I don't know any boxing.
What are you talking about? Frederick Lawson.
Lawson had fights against. Let's not make this a Frederick Lawson type show.
No,
right?
But let's not let you get away with this idea. Let's not let you get away with this idea that Frederick Lawson is some kind of name.
Look at Lawson's box record.
Okay.
There you go. You got a computer, and while you're looking him up and doing your research, Mannix, Lawson at least had some kind of familiar names against him. And yes, of course, Ortiz blew him out in three minutes flat or under that. But that's what I think Boots Ennis should have done when he's testing out the waters at junior middleweight. Just flatten out somebody instead of making a main event, a big card, taking it back to Philly against Lima. You should have just done a quick little stay busy fight in a smaller venue against a guy like Lawson.
Do you do any homework when you come into this show? Frederick Lawson.
I did when I
Frederick Lawson. Hold on. Frederick Lawson has some names on his resume. That's
all I said.
But they came after. They came after Virgil Ortiz. He fought Alexis Rocha after Virgil Ortiz. He fought Giovanni Santillon after Virgil Ortiz. He got knocked out by both those guys. Coming into the fight with Virgil Ortiz, Frederick Lawson had 2 things going for him. One, he was 2-3 in his last 5 fights with knockout losses to Charles Hatley and Juan Ruiz. and he was coming in with the possibility that he might have brain damage. You remember that? That's why this fight was stopped so quickly. It was questionable because there was some wondering if Frederick Lawson still had brain damage coming into this fight. The idea that you think Frederick Lawson is some kind of improvement over Lima is crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, you almost forgot his name over the guy.
I was forgetting how to pronounce his first name. It's pronounced Uisman. I know his name. I was forgetting how to pronounce his first name.
That's my point here. His name's forgettable, Mannix, and he comes from a part of the world where boxing's not prevalent, man. It's not. How many Portuguese champions do you know? I know 0. I mean, that's just the way it is, man. You're fighting a guy that has a good record, that is not known, that has one of these hubcap titles, IBO. Yeah, it makes sense if you sell it right. But if you really look at the fights and watch Lima, I did watch some tape on Lima. He's not a good fighter. And Boots is an exceptional fighter. I just wish he would have got a name that's been knocked out at 54.
But you can't name one. You the only name I could think of, maybe you name who?
Did. Huh?
Who? Frederick Lawson?
No, a Frederick Lawson type fighter where he's familiar because he's a B-side of other names.
Guy. No, but you are. I don't know why we're crossing wires here. Like, you're giving Frederick Lawson credit for fights he didn't have coming into the Virgil Ortiz fight. He didn't have that fight against Santillán.
But other A-side names, even after getting knocked out by Ortiz, he kept getting fights by names because
two guys. That was it. That was it. 2 guys. He got knocked out by both of them. After Ortiz. Coming into the Ortiz fight, Sergio, he had fought nobody. He had no real wins. He got knocked out by Charles Hadley. That was probably the best guy that he'd been in with.
Hadley's a familiar name.
Probably the best guy.
Hadley's a familiar name. See, these are familiar names. That's all I ask. Put a familiar name there. I don't care who it is. Just not an unfamiliar guy from Portugal.
You had never, ever... Did you call the Virgil...
I did.
I looked down you had never heard of Lawson coming into that fight. Never, ever. No, I don't believe you. I think you're making it up.
No, because he sounded like British royalty.
Okay.
So that's how I remember his name.
You didn't do your homework on the guy. I didn't see you didn't do your homework on the guy. I said coming in, you didn't know who he was. All I'm saying is that Uisman Lima, Sergio, is ranked top 10 by 3 of the 4 sanctioning bodies. Frederick Lawson was not. Uisman Lima has fought 4 times since that decision loss to Aaron McKenna, beat 3 guys with undefeated records and 1 guy with 1 loss. I'm not sitting here and telling you he's a world beater, but I know from everything that Matchroom said and Boots' team said that they weren't looking for a world beater in this fight. They wanted a good, solid top 10 guy before they go on and hopefully face Virgil Ortiz by February of next year. They're getting it, is all I'm saying. Uisman Lima is exactly the kind of guy that they're looking for.
Uisman Lima. This will be the first and the last time you hear of this name. But if you sell that as an IBO champion, a guy with a good record,
I don't want to sell it as an IBO champion. Nobody cares about the IBO belt.
Then I'm fine with it. But as far as just namesake, name recognition, the weight that your name brings, Lima is a step backwards. I'm just telling you the truth.
There is, on no planet is Lima a step backwards from a Frederick Lawson fighter. Frederick Lawson, who followed up the first-round knockout loss to Virgil Ortiz with a 7th-round knockout to Alexis Rocha. We called that fight. That was an obliteration. And a first-round knockout to Giovanni Santillán. So don't sit there and tell me that Frederick Lawson coming into that fight was some kind of household name, a recognizable property. He was not under any circumstance.